Got some great guests tonight, that's good. Yeah, I'm Walter, and it's great to be here. And up next we've got Dr. James Mueller, who's come to speak with us tonight. So let's welcome him on to the stage.
Kia ora, namaskar, and good evening. It's absolutely wonderful to see that such a large group of people comes together to start a new movement, and congratulations to Shailesh who's been able to rope all of you in with the promise that there will be a better world for SMEs. And that's probably a really good start. New Zealand is the country of small firms. 93% of businesses have fewer than 20 staff. That is a high ratio, and most of them are doing well. But if you're like me, the other 500,000 people in New Zealand who run businesses, then you probably wake up every morning thinking, how do I not screw up today? And you will. And clearly, this is not a company setup where we have train tracks that automatically lead us to where we want to go, but this is like the golf buggy going across the dunes, cross country. It's up and down, and suddenly you're in a swamp with crocodiles snapping at your heels, and things are not going as well as they should. And one of the ways of how we handle when things get tough is that we have groups like these, where you can talk, where you can share, where you can make sure that your experiences are heard by others and you hear theirs, and out of that comes usually a reflection of what can I do different. And if I have one thought for you to take home, is that you will all fail at some point at something. I have many times, and many other businesses do, and I want you to fail fast so that very quickly you get back on the horse and we try something different, and hopefully that works better. And in order to be able to fail fast and to be clear on what we do better next time, it needs this population of people who all have different motivations, different backgrounds, different religions, cultural ethnicities that come together, and they then absolutely end up with an ability to help everyone out. And you are very fortunate here in Auckland that you are in the presence of 3 world-class universities. We're the only country where all universities are world-class. And world-class means ranked in the top 2, 1.5%, 3%. No other country does that. And they come with something that you all paid for with your tax dollars, and that is students who need work outside the university to become practically upskilled, and they come with a huge experience background that is available to you for free. And you will find that today there will be 100 students running around in Auckland somewhere, MBAs, Master of Management, experienced people, average 6 to 8 years of work experience, who want to show you what they can do in order to learn and to help improve their own environment in which they ultimately will work. You probably didn't know that, but if you called up one of those universities, whether it's Massey, which is my shop, or AUT, or Auckland, you will find a very receptive ear for those that want to have a group of consultants come in. And look, like every consultant, they don't always tell you what you want to hear, but they quite often tell you something you don't know yet. And then your job is to put those puzzle pieces together and make sure that you come up with a new strategy, so when you fail again, we get faster back on that horse and have something else we can do. So the first part is that we have 2 key issues that relate to small businesses, and that is knowledge and money. The knowledge part we can fix by talking to each other, by bringing an external resource, and by connecting, and this is a beautiful start to make that happen. The next part is money. And I think everybody with little cash registers going into your head could think, well, if I had another $1 million, how many more horses, vans, and things could I buy in order to make my business bigger? We have a current setting in New Zealand, and Michael was kind enough to lead on into the immigration debate. The government currently has a very welcoming red carpet rolled out for people with money. Not your money, but their money. And it comes to here, which is better than us paying somewhere else. And all they need is a chance to invest, And if they invest correctly, we hear from MB later, it's a clear setting that is beautifully orchestrated, $1 million or $2 million. The government will eventually give them a pathway to residence. You get to get the money as working capital in your business. Bjorn, put your hand up. Bjorn is the colleague who in Auckland runs most of those investment opportunities from an immigration advisor standpoint. It needs to match a number of moving parts, immigration rules and investor rules and accounts and lawyers, and we feed a whole infrastructure of people with that. But at the end of the day, there is a flood of capital waiting to come into New Zealand, and no one invests $1 million in main freight or the airport. That's not the target. That $1 million or the $2 million, those are the two groups that are of interest here, go into small, mid-sized firms, usually small firms, and they need to buy at least 25% of the stock in order to be part of that business, and then they can co-work with you. You have that money as working capital. So we have two really good pathways that help out, especially when small firms struggle to get to that next phase of the additional 10 staff, the additional $1 million in sales, that we have a really good access to consultants here in town, freight, and we have a beautiful new pathway for capital to come in, and that capital is capital that comes without strings attached for you, other than a sale of a portion, a minority portion of equity, essentially an investor that comes in and says, I love your company. Well, what they really say is, I love residents in New Zealand more than anything else, and that's why I'm taking my $1 million from my home country, and I will invest it not in infrastructure there, but I invest it in New Zealand, and that's good for us. We have a setting right now where we have, as of rules that changed in late August, the best platform for international students coming to New Zealand and studying master's higher degrees. That is good for everyone because they spend a lot of money. The average student spends $64,000 a year in tuition fees. They have to show $20,000 extra for eating and living, and I don't know any student that can live with that, so it's a lot more money that they spend, and that money comes to New Zealand already. It's export earnings, and we like exports, but those are then also the people who have the potential to help you grow your business as you need staff that comes on board, because all of them need skilled roles after their studies in order to stay here. A huge potential from which you can source staff with the program to get additional money, and then of course having the opportunity of bringing in outside people that are well-trained, well-experienced, that come as free consultants. 3 good solutions for problems that you didn't know about before you came here today. So Shalish will take your money at the door out as membership, because every time you meet there will be something new coming up that will be exciting and helpful. And on that happy note, I will turn over to whom?
Oh, yeah. Our next speaker.
Our next speaker.
Is that what you're saying?
You're going to tell us who that is.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, go for it.
Thank you, Dr. Jim Mueller.